The hash and pot smokers of the West, Kathmandu offers a first-class service.
America's public enemy number one is drug abuse. This will be a worldwide offensive.
Whether it's mountaineering or marijuana, trekking to Everest or tripping on LSD, getting as high as you can has always been central to the Nepal tourist experience. This is the story of an American president who tried to nip communism in the bud by destroying a Himalayan hippie Shangri-La. But in stopping the smokers, he sparked a Maoist blowback.
Towards the end of the 60s, youth started living their countries in search of places which were remote, exotic, and something like the Shangri-Las that could trigger their imagination and so on. So Kathmandu had become famous for that. One reason for Kathmandu being famous outside Nepal is that people could smoke gaza freely in this country.
La liberté, l'amour.
The hippie trail followed the footsteps of the ancient Silk Road. But instead of trading textiles, its travelers swapped the post-war social conformity of the Western world for dreams of enlightenment in the East. Some were fleeing the Vietnam War draft, while others came to find themselves. For whatever reason, every year from 1965 to 1973, tens of thousands of young people bust or hitchhiked the overland route from Istanbul to Kathmandu. And the terminus of the hippie trail was a single bustling urban lane called Joche, rechristened by its new inhabitants as Freak Street.
There's a flood of young people from the West wearing all kinds of dresses, very picturesque, very dramatic. They filled the streets actually. And they all went to Joche. Why? Because there were small shops where they could buy gaza. And people started setting up restaurants all around. They got the possibility of opening contacts with the world outside. And they came with the music. Jimi Hendrix music, Van Morrison's music. Bob Dylan was introduced by the hippies. How many roads must a man walk down? This became very famous in Kathmandu. Why did the king allow the hippies to come here? I am still surprised. The king had restrictions on everything. But they allowed the hippies to come here. He allowed them to move freely, smoke gaza, until the pressure came from the American government itself and they banned the free selling and smoking of gaza at that time.
They came down from Nepal to fight against you. They're here in Nepal. Because up there they can get free pot, at least it's legal.
You see, homosexuality, though immorality generally, these are the enemies of strong societies. That's why the communists and the left-wingers are pushing each other. They're trying to destroy us.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. This will be a worldwide offensive dealing with the problems of sources of supply as well as Americans who may be stationed abroad wherever they are in the world. A number of young Americans have become addicts as they serve abroad, whether in Vietnam or Europe or other places.
Many youths who resisted the compulsory military service in the States, they also came here. But after the Nepali government finally put an end to the free selling and smoking of gaza, they destroyed the crops. The police destroyed so many gaza farms. So they were very angry about that matter. Youths, the hippies were very angry. They lived in large numbers and I was very sad when I said goodbye to them. They were friends after all.
Whether or not these young men are tuned in, they've certainly dropped out of the society they knew. Together they've quietly rejected the practical Western world and seem not at all sure that they'll ever want to return.